Okay, good morning. Today we're going to install IDS onto our firewall. We have our firewall running in the background, and we have Kali Purple running as well. You can see that it's operating on 172.16.1.1. So we're going to open up Firefox for starters and just go to that IP address 172.16.1.1. That's going to get in there. So I've already saved my username and access to this, so it should put me right in. And here we go. Now, installing an IDS, installing Snort into your firewall really isn't that difficult. You can see here, before we get started though, I've got two alerts. I'm going to look at these alerts. Let's see. No config found, MPF restoring config. So those are fine. I'm going to go ahead and read all of those. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to do is you'll notice this dashboard right here. We haven't done anything with this yet. I want to expand this out. I'm going to put the plus sign right there, and I want to actually capture my firewall logs. So I'm going to click on that plus sign. You'll scroll down to the bottom. You'll see that I have firewall logs slated right here. Now, if I hit that plus sign again, I can do system information, thermal sensors, traffic graphs. I actually like traffic graphs, so I'm going to throw that up there as well. And again, if I scroll down here, you can see that I have WAN, LAN, and DMZ, which will provide that kind of baseline of knowledge, if you want to say that, right? It's kind of showing me, hey, this is the traffic that's currently going on inside of our network. And this will be important because I think what I'm going to do next is actually purposely infect a Windows 10 system with a piece of malware, okay? And so I can look at my gateways, captive portal status, all this good stuff is all up in here, right? But that's not what we're here for today. We're here to do some firewalls. So we're going to do system and then packet manager down here. So system packet manager and then available packets. You'll see that we have nothing installed right now, right? Because this is a fresh Pfsense install that we installed, I think 2 or 3 videos ago. So we're going to do available packages, and then I can have access to all these different packages. But today I want Snort. So I'm going to type in Snort. I'm going to hit enter. And you can see Snort is an open source network intrusion prevention detection system. So it's an IDS IPS. I'm just going to click that install button. I'm going to confirm it. And then it's going to start going through the process. So I'm going to let it do its thing. And I believe, it's been a while since I've done this actually. I probably should have practiced before I did it. But I believe I have to set up a Snort account before I do anything else. So it looks like it's installed. Now we're going to go to services and then drop down all the way to Snort. And you can see here that we don't have anything set up right now, right? It's not looking for anything. It's not tracking anything. So we're going to add that right there. We have to figure out which interface we want to put it on. Do we want to do it on the WAN? Do we want it on the LAN? We want it enabled on the WAN because we want it going through our network. So we actually want to see what's coming out from the wild. And then let's look at here, right? So alert settings. Snort will send alerts to the firewall log system. Default is not checked. We're going to check that because I plan on looking at logs pretty standardly, right? I mean, the entire purpose of this lab is to kind of figure out what's going on with our system as we go through the whole hierarchy, right? So I want those logs, right? And the enable packet captures, absolutely, I want those packet captures. We want to be able to see what's going on, and then it says the file size, right? Enter a value in megabytes for the packet capture size. Default is 128. When the limit is reached, the current packet capture file in the directory will be rotated and a new file will be posted. I'm actually going to do 128 seems actually good. I was thinking about doing 512, but I think 128 is more than enough. And then enable unified 2 logging. This option will cause Snort to simultaneously log alerts to a unified 2 binary format log file in the logging subdirectory for this interface. We're not going to do that, right? Block settings, block offenders. Checking this option will automatically block hosts that generate Snort alerts. Default is not checked. We don't want to do that. If I was in an enterprise network, or if I was setting this up for maybe my kids, I would probably check this, right? But for the lab type environment, I actually want it to go through because we're gonna do this in a virtual environment. We want to see what's going on. And then detection performance settings. We have ACB and FA, which is the default pattern matcher algorithm. That's fine. Search optimize, enable search optimization. We're gonna do that one. And then stream alerts. Do not evaluate stream. We're not gonna worry about that. Choose network Snort should inspect and whitelist. So the default is set up for choose home net. You want interface use. We're not going to mess around with any of that. We're just going to let it go. We're going to save it. And then you'll see that when we saved it, we had all these processes pop up at the bottom, right? So we're going to do WAN categories, WAN rules, right? We can see custom rules, decoder rules, so on and so forth. Variables, if we wanted to do any variables, preaux. We're going to leave this all alone, though. We're not really going to mess around with it. All right, so we're going to head up to global settings right here. And you'll notice that this is where the rules kind of come into play with what really makes Snort powerful, right? So we want to enable download and Snort register user, da-da-da-da. We want to click that, but it requires an OINT code. So you need to set up for registered user account rules. This is the free one, or you can pay for it for subscriber. Because it's a home lab, we're going to do the free version right there. So you're going to sign up for a free registered user rules account. When you click on that, it'll open up a tab and take you to a page that looks like, I've got it opened up in my regular vision, but it'll look something like this over here, where it's got the Snort code going on right there, all right? And then you'll get an OINT code, and then you'll throw your OINT code into there. Now, we want to enable Snort community rules. Now, if we click on Enable ET Pro, it'll require to have a Proofpoint account. And since we don't have a Proofpoint account, kind of makes it obsolete, so we're going to get rid of that. Make sure you click back on the emerging threat rules. And then SourceFire Open App ID detectors. We're going to click to download that. And then it's got the Enable Open Text. We're going to leave that one blank. And then we've got our tracker botnet. We're going to click on that to enable that one. And then rules, updating, settings, update interval. It says never. I want to do every 7 days. That's just me. I'm just going to let it go. And then it could have a update timer for you. Now, I run my virtual machines pretty nonstop throughout the day. There's times where I just let them go for literally weeks on end. So I'm going to put my format, it wants hours. I'm going to put 01 and then 01, just like that. You want to watch when you're doing the update start time. Really, I shouldn't be doing 01. I should be doing something like 01:15. We want to stop. We don't want to do it at the top of the hour or the bottom hour. And what I mean by that is we don't want to do anything that's right at the hour mark, especially in an enterprise environment, because if that happens, then you've kind of got something going on to where, are you sure this happened at this time? I know with one company I worked for, we actually did it at 22 after the hour because it's kind of an odd number, and we would know that, hey, this happens every time at 01:22 in the morning or 12:22 in the morning. It's very much something that's not going to catch your attention, although some companies like to do it on the 5, meaning that if we know it happens on the 5, it's more likely to be something that somebody initiated on purpose. I'm going to keep mine at 22 just because I feel like that's a time that I would remember if I was looking at this from this perspective, okay? And then I'm going to leave this be, and then remove block host intervals. I'm going to save all this, right? I'm just going to let that go through. And it says, you must supply the OINT master code, which I'll do without you looking at it because I don't want you copying. So one sec. So let's do this again. Let me go ahead and save it. And you can see here that it provides that proof point information right there, okay? Okay, now we're going to go to updates. And you'll notice that we don't have anything updated, nothing's enabled, nothing downloaded. So we're just going to update the rules right here. And it's going to go through, and this is going to take some time, all right? So I will see you when this is done. Okay, so you can kind of see that it's finished up. We see that we have our community rules. We have the hashes identifying that they've been downloaded and enabled right through here. You can see that we don't have the subscriber rule set. And we result of failed right here. So I'm going to force the update to kind of force it into being just because we had some that didn't actually take. So let's see what's going on. And again, we'll be back when this is done. Okay, you can see now that we have Snort up and going. Our blocking mode is disabled. We have our pattern match, and we have these two marks, right? We have the X and we have the Snort. Now, right now, Snort is not running. So we're going to press that little check mark right there, and we're going to press the little button, and Snort is now running. It is now enabled on our firewall system, doing what it needs to do. And congratulations, you have set up an IPS IDS on your system. So we are good to go. And I think we're going to actually mess around with some phishing emails. One of my throwaway accounts has received a rash of phishing emails lately, and I'm curious as to what they are, what they're doing, what they're trying to accomplish. I saw a really good one from Robinhood. I was actually kind of surprised of how well it was written for a phishing email. And I kind of want to show that off just so you can kind of see that even though we like to say as cybersecurity specialists that's low-hanging fruit or that's easy to spot, it's really not. And in fact, in this case of this phishing email, it was definitely something I might have fallen for if I had a Robinhood account, because it was so well written. So we're gonna open up a Windows 10 system. We're gonna do some funky stuff, and we're gonna click on the links that we're not supposed to click on in this virtual environment, and we're gonna see what happens. So until next time, thanks everyone.